Here we are, here we are, me and my sister right there.
Greetings, deuces.
That's right. We here in Harlem has been so regentrified. Oh my gosh.
It's atrocious.
And tell them about how they are not who they think they are real quick, sister. Just break it down.
Yeah, well, how people are walking around thinking they're Africans, African Americans. However, according to archaeology and also according to the scriptures, we are the indigenous people in the four corners of the earth. Okay, we are the indigenous people in the four corners of the earth.
That's right. And Africa is named after a Caucasian, Scipio Africanus. And America is named after a Caucasian, Americo Vespucci. How are you African American? Because Jesse Jackson said so. And look how decked out she is. Look, y'all.
Yeah, it has to probably.
Holding it down, yo.
Our people are
The world famous Apollo Theater right here, yo. It was raining before, so I couldn't really show you, but now I can. And there's the world famous Mart 125 where we had our business, the only black shopping mall in the USA. We was here, we've been regentrified. There's the Gap, there's Red Lobster, Banana Republic, and as you can see, all these corporations are here. Over there, everybody is corporate now. But this was the only real black business here in Harlem with black people, black businesses. And there was my stall down in there. And it's still political. Our people still fighting. This is where you see red pill, blue pill. Right in front of here, in front of the Mart, talking they stuff. But we have businesses here in the Mart. Shout out to red pill, blue pill, all these people that are African Harlem legends. The legendary Blue, the real Jacob the jeweler, the real gold fronts, all y'all fronting in Miami with the gold fronts. This man right here got y'all hooked on that. That's right. Did all the jewelry for all the celebrities. And what? The real hip hop, not today. There she go. Go Janice. Go Janice. Go Janice. That's right. She better have came. I was going to drag out the house.
You gonna drag out the house?
That's right. This is my people's Mart 125 here in the building where we puff, pass. And it don't last because Scotty in the building.
This is a very special day simply because I get to really, really be intimate with a lot of individuals that I haven't necessarily met face to face all of yet. But the fact that the support has been there, even without necessarily knowing each other, shows how special and what it means to be a native of this country and be a Native American. And for me, I had no idea. I had no idea about the history. I had no idea how inclusive this group is and what it means to be part of Standing Rock and be part of the United Sioux Nation. So I want to thank all you guys for hosting myself, my sister, my best friend Brett Carroll, my grandparents, and the fact that I get to meet my family, finally. I mean, you guys have no idea. This is finally meeting my mom's family, and now I'm with you guys forever, and I hope that you don't mind that, because I don't mind it either, so.
I think it's very important that we legalize marijuana here in New York State. 8 other states have done it, plus the District of Columbia. There are a lot of reasons to do it, but first and foremost, because it's a racial justice issue. Because people across all ethnic and racial lines use marijuana at roughly the same rates, but the arrests for marijuana are 80% black and Latino. We need to not only legalize marijuana here, but when this multi-billion-dollar industry comes to New York, we need to prioritize the individuals and the communities that have been the most harmed by the war on drugs. And we need to parole people who are in jail for marijuana arrests, and we need to expunge their records and use some of this tax revenue for them to re-enter. And what I would say is that effectively marijuana in New York State has been legal for white people for a long time, and it's time to make it legal for everybody else.
It should be obvious as to why it's causing a commotion, but if it escapes you, let me explain. The current American education states African Americans were brought to America as slaves from Africa, which is simply not true. They are American indigenous, not descendants of Africans. As they say, the truth is stranger than fiction. Although this fact isn't spoken of openly, it's not a secret. However, with programming such as Roots, 12 Years a Slave, The African American Story, and The Book of Negroes, is it any wonder why so many African Americans are confused? We won't address all the misleading DNA tests being provided to connect African Americans to Africa.
Greetings, welcome back to the Happy to Be Nappy show, where we're here to make you think. This is to all the melanated, aka black teachers that call themselves black and that are teaching their melanated black students that they are African, that they deserve to be African. African is a synonymous for slave. It's a word that's made up by Jesse Jackson in 1988. It has no power in law or the Constitution. In the Constitution, you're considered 3/5 of a human being. So all you melanated black teachers out there, please stop teaching your children in school that they're African and that they're slaves when they're a toxin and indigenous to this land. And this is Queen Goddess with the mic in her hand. Okay? Letting you know you're a toxin, you're indigenous, you're aboriginal. Do your research, teachers. You should be ashamed of yourself. Peace. And we're back at the Happy to Be Nappy show once again. And the most important thing about teaching these students, teachers, melanated black teachers, that the students are African is that it's named after a Caucasian by the name of Leo Scipico Africanus. America is named after another Caucasian by the name of Amerigo Vespucci. So, like Dr. Umar says, how are you African American? That means you're a slave. You're a slave and the slave master. How are you African American? That means you're a rapist and the raper. You're the victim and the victimizer. How can you be African American and be God and the devil in the same body at the same time? We have been indoctrinated with these lies. It's time to break the chains, break the spell, because now it's on your mental mind.
I'm in New Orleans. This is our culture. You know, the Indians, we going crazy right now, man. I'm representing Big Chief right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like a sacred thing. I definitely appreciate them for letting me do this and get out here and do this in my community. This music video is called It's a Jungle Out Here, which is real. You know, we lost a lot of soldiers out here, and this record, this like one of my favorite records. And to be able to do this at home with my people, you know, we just gonna go crazy. We gonna turn all the way up, show y'all what it's about. Came up with this record. It was one of the records, just a party song, but then I wanted to add some kind of message into it. So this record is, you know, we going crazy. We're in New Orleans. That's what it is, the culture. You know, Mardi Gras, the Indians, we go crazy. This is what we do.
Show up!
Yeah.
Big Chief Camp, the Moore Hunters, downtown LG. The Moore Hunters and the 1.5. I got Flag Ball Jamal, Flag Ball Kenny, left flag. Got about 5 more over there right now. I got 5.
Even kneeling to that flag, like, I have no African descendant in my blood. I'm a Native American. So literally, I'm a Cherokee, I'm a Blackfoot, I'm a Red-tailed Indian. That's what's in my blood. Like, I have no African descendant in my blood. I'm a Native American. So literally, I'm a Cherokee, I'm a Blackfoot, I'm a Red-tailed Indian. That's what's in my blood. A lot of people in America is indigenous people. You're not from Africa. A lot of people in America is indigenous people. You're not from Africa. But that's a whole nother conversation. Like, that's crazy, man. For you to tell somebody, like, yo, stand up to this flag. Nigga, you know what this flag did to us? That's like you like, yo, accept crack in your neighborhood. Like, what? Nigga, you know what this crack did to our neighborhood? Like, how could you accept?
Baby?
The history of the Pokanoket tribe actually was the headship tribe of what you call the Wampanoag Nation today. But when the English came to this country, this whole area was known as Pokanoket country, or King Philip country later on. Any map prior to the King Philip War will stay right on it, Pokanoket country. So Wampanoag is a name that was given to us during the King Philip War, around the year 1675, 1676, when the colonists outlawed the word Pokanoket and made it illegal for you, if you were male 14 years of age or older, to say you were Pokanoket. And they started calling us Wampanoag at that time. And that was a law that was on the books until after the year 2000. And if you were 14 years of age or older and you were male, they would kill you on the sight of you.
You've been riding hard for Africa. You bought the Pakistani kente cloth from Joanne Fabrics. You bought the art from TJ Maxx. You bought the black soap from the dollar store. And it wouldn't matter if you had an authentic Ubuntu chiseled relic from a mountaintop in the Congo. You're not African. Talking about you taking trips to the motherland. You taking trips to the other land talking about you feel at home. Nigga, they laughing at you, B. You not African. Fake Ancestry.com face ass niggas. West Africa, right? Right? West Africa, right? Right. Go ask your your great-granddaddy, your great-granddaddy. Ask him who was here before a white man or Asian ever stepped foot on his land beneath your feet. Ask him about Africa and see if you don't slap your ass out the afterlife. So basically, what you're saying is all your family who was actually murdered and slaughtered here on your motherland, they died in the vanity of your perpetual ignorance.
African is true that among the founding fathers, the word African was a synonym for slave, an Indian or Red Indian, nearly synonymous with savage. Hidden Cities by Roger G. Kennedy, 1994. Let me also point out that anything considered Africa or Africa is that what is used, the ancient Carthage and of her holdings. Remember, the Carthaginian commander. So how are you African? How are you African American? Shout out to my parents for always educating us and teaching us that our ancestry is right here, that we Yamasee, Cherokee, Mohawk, and Mohegan. Talk to your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents and the elders in your family. It's impossible to get over here on the slave ships where there's no ships to be shown as proof. It takes 8 months.
Now is the time for us to disidentify as African Americans, which doesn't even exist. It's not a legal word. It was invented by Jesse Jackson in 1988 to make us feel that we were equal. So now you got Chinese Americans, Arab Americans, Asian Americans, African Americans. Envy, that term is very misleading. Let me tell you why. Because you cannot be the slave and the slave master. You cannot be the oppressor and the oppressed. You cannot be the victim and the victimizer. You cannot be the rape and the rapist at the same time. How can you be African American? How can you be the God and the devil in the same body at the same time? We are the only people in America, okay, whose humanity was codified by law. A lot of us don't get this, Charlemagne. Do you realize you're the only people in world history who are not even considered people? We had to fight to prove we were human beings before we could fight for freedom. People leave that step out. It wasn't a fight for freedom. It was a fight for humanity, then a fight for freedom, then a fight for equality, and now we at stage 4, a fight for survival. You're the only people who was not allowed to learn.